Just working on the bolts. I got the upper bolts out for the tranny. I got the highest middle bolts on that side. It's going to be three basically on that side of the tranny, and it's going to be four on this side. I got two of the three. I'm leaving the bottom one in just so I can have that to take out last. Same thing on this side. And then I just going to take out, I already took out the top two, then just going to take out this one. Then I'm going to support this and then slowly lower it down after. But what I was talking about earlier with changing out the TR3650, you notice there's a hairline crack that runs down. I believe it goes around back there. You can see where I put JB Weld back over there. But that hairline crack has run down the entire back of the tail shaft housing on this TR3650. This is the sole reason why I'm deciding to change this. That plus the stupidly long overdrive. So I lied. Two reasons. Instead of having a 0.62, which this has for an overdrive, I want to up it to about a 0.82. So it'll be a little bit nicer to drive in traffic, and also just to have a usable fifth gear on this car, because currently it's a NASCAR 4-speed with an overdrive for which is great for gas mileage, but when it comes to hill climbing, it's just a dog, this car is. So she's gotten better with the torque output with the long tube headers, and then I also ported the intake and ported the intake a little bit. So it helped it a little bit, but honestly, an overdrive is really needed on this car. But the tail shaft housing on these transmissions, I've spoken to a couple of people that are just made out of paper mache. This is the second time this has personally happened to me. First time I had it replaced, and I thought it was originally the transmission and then the engine bushings. I replaced both of those, and it still ended up cracking. Honestly, if there was an aftermarket company that could make a tail shaft housing for these would be really nice transmissions. And sometimes I'm surprised when I go to the junkyard and I see one of these that aren't full of grease and leaking, but it happens. But this is sadly a lemon. Well, the tail shaft is. Bet you if I can replace it, she'll be a good tranny. Gears are still good. Clutch is still good. I'm just upgrading her from this point. And I'm sick and tired of seeing a bloodbath underneath. Okay, that was a fucking bear. So, for any of y'all ever trying to take out a TR3650 out of a 2002, well, I guess 2000 and above Mustang GT or a Crown Victoria with the 4.6 two-valve and long tube headers, understand that this little section right here, the ear for your transmission where it bolts up to the starter motor, is going to strike it. This ear right here. So what you're going to have to do is physically pull out the transmission enough to where you can twist it this way and then out. You will have to, I was working with straps, as you can tell, but I basically took the transmission, lifted it up a little bit, twisted, and came out. You'll also have to remove on the Crowns for sure, I don't know about the Mustangs, the shifter unit. This guy. So it's like that when you pull it out, just to make it easier and give you enough space. Let's take a look around. That fell out of here. I don't know what the hell this is. It is metal, some sort of metal in origin. I have no idea what it is, and I'm trying to figure that out. But I'm not planning to reuse this, but I could probably put this somewhere else. It's still good. The gears are still good, though. Tail shaft housing is could put that line right there as it goes through there. That's all crack. It's all one big crack that stretches to the bottom, and you can barely see it. Barely see it, but you can see where the red is. That's where it's been leaking. It's cracked basically all the way. I believe it follows. Yeah, all the way to right about there. It's pretty much cracked. So it's going to need a new tail shaft housing. I did try to solve this with JB Weld at one point, but that, of course, did not hold. So it leaked its ass off, and then as of lately, it's been bleeding. So I decided finally, new transmission time. So out she comes. This is I already rebuilt this once and, excuse me, twice. No, 3 times. I got this first time around from an old Mustang. Third gear was blown up, rebuilt that. Later on, the tail shaft housing was leaking, but then I blew up the third gear, so I replaced those two together. Driving, great. Tail shaft housing started leaking again. Replaced it again. I did not blow up the third gear, however. You got to be a little gentle when you're going into third gear on these transmissions. Just don't bang it in there and just start dumping the clutch, especially on the Crown. She's a heavy girl. That third gear, she's strong, but not that strong. Just an FYI. But yeah, I started leaking again a second time, and I said, screw this, I'll just drive on it. And I kept filling it for about 2 years, and then crack finally got big enough to where it was time to go for it to go. That plus I wanted me a shorter overdrive, so finally scrounged the money together, get me a new transmission. So this one I'll probably fix up and put somewhere else. It'll find a home, but it's mostly good. I just need to replace that tail shaft and she'll be a unit again. Hopefully I can find something with a stronger tail shaft, or either that or try to weld it up or something. I don't know. We'll see. But the other thing, I've been thinking off and on whether I can reuse that pressure plate. But I'm also thinking to replace the rear main while I'm out here. And just this part of the clutch seems to be okay, but I don't believe the friction plates over here are pretty much worn all the way down. I think this clutch was about to go, well, at least this plate. This side is okay, but that side is less than stellar. And there's a couple of hot spots here and there, but I don't really bang on this transmission that hard. It's not, I did drift it here and there, but not hardcore, that's for sure. Well, a friend of mine actually helped me figure out what this could be. This is the throwout bearing, and notice how you can see the roller bearings over there, the ball bearings. There's supposed to be a cover over that. That cover just so happens to be almost the same width as this, and this probably would fill the circumference of it, or at least most of it. It's pretty mangled, but I bet you this is the cover to the back of this throwout bearing, so I'm gonna need to replace this guy too. The fork, I think, should be okay. The physical fork doesn't seem to be too bad, so I think I should be able to reuse this. I just need to clean it up really nice. Also, another glorious thing, this is the transmission mount for the rear, and I thought I was going to reuse it, which it's mostly okay except for the fact that this piece popped out. And I said, well, I'm already out here. I'm probably not going to reuse this. I have a brand new one sitting in the box at home, so I'll just throw that on. But yeah,